If you had to give all your wealth away right now to one thing, what would it be and why?
It's a very big question. If I had to give all my wealth to one thing, it's funny, actually my wife and I were just talking about this, and I don't think it would be a specific name of a charity that exists, but I think it would be to a consortium of organizations that are comprised of people and or beings that don't have any means to help themselves. So whether it be children in slavery in Africa that are put in slavery without any say on their own, without any ability to get out, whether it be women in the sex trade, whether it be animals in animal shelters. The kind of analogy we gave is people and things that have been encaged and can't open their own cage. So I think it's putting wealth towards helping those that have no other means to help themselves.
And in terms of inspiration, like what you want to give to and what you do give to, how do you find your inspiration? How do you choose the causes that you want to support?
Again, I really try to focus on organizations twofold. One that helps people or beings that don't have other means of help. Primarily children. Children are obviously very innocent. They don't decide to be in a certain situation. Not that there are a lot of other organizations where people are put in situations they don't decide to be in, but children particularly if they're hospitalized children, sick children, children that don't have homes, children that can't go to school. That's the future of this country and the future of this planet. So I really look to give a significant part of my time and my money to helping those children. Art of Elysium is a charity that I'm the chairman of. We help about 50,000 kids a year. We're in pretty much every hospital in Los Angeles, quite a few in New York, some in Marfa, Texas. And effectively, what we do is we bring artists into the hospitals that are primarily for children, starting from children that have been hospitalized their whole lives and hooked up to breathing tubes to children that come in for outpatient chemo. And what we do is we bring artists in to sing, to dance, to read them books, to play guitar, and even to engage them in art. And ultimately, it gives hope to children that don't otherwise have it.
And was there an event or was there one person that kind of helped you decide that children's causes were something you wanted to devote so much of your time to? Was it just kind of happened organically just through the years?
Well, so the causes are pretty broad. I mean, children's causes certainly are, I'd say, one of the main focuses. I'm very involved in the Sheriff's Youth Foundation, which is also helps children that would generally end up in high-gang, high-risk areas. But I'm also involved in organizations that are help animal shelters, help adults that are homeless, help families that are otherwise in need and would otherwise go both either homeless or hungry. But in terms of the children's side, there was one particular event, which is that a friend of mine actually took me to an Art of Elysium children's hospital and asked me one day, just can you come along? I'm just going to go, and we give time there. And didn't ask me for any money, just said, can you come give some time? And we went to the hospital, and there was a child, and there was lots of children. This particular child, they handed me a guitar and said, can you just play guitar? She likes to hear guitar. And she was in a chair and had a breathing tube in, and basically, was connected to tubes, and she must have been 12 years old, and I was told had been in the chair her whole life. But as soon as I started playing guitar, she had a smile from ear to ear, literally. And made me realize that children are so important, and children give us so much joy. And without children, obviously, this whole world stops. And it's that moment that I realized that the joy that I got, and the help that I got, and the kind of reinvigoration for life that I got from helping this one child who all it was a smile. And here she was in a wheelchair, connected to tubes, couldn't talk, and had the biggest smile ever because I was playing guitar for her.
You're a really busy guy. You're making all these movies. You were telling me before you're flying to Qatar, you're flying to China, and you're on the road a lot. How do you kind of balance between your personal life, your business, and then philanthropy? Kind of how do you work that into your schedule?
It's always been, since I've been a child, my parents always instilled in me that giving back is as important as getting. And I remember being a child going to Habitat for Humanity, when I was, 10 years old, and my mom handed me a hammer and nails and saying, go go build a house. I was thinking, I'm a Jew, we don't build houses, but that was a joke. So it's always just been, even in my high school, there was always a required amount of community service you just had to get done, and it was the older you got, the more hours it was. And I think it just was always instilled in me, whether it be by our teachers or by my parents or by people around me, that because we're fortunate and we have a lot, we need to help those that are less fortunate. So I make it a point, no matter how busy I am, both to give money and time, and I try not to let because I'm traveling or because I'm stuck in a deal or because I'm involved in going to this country or going to that country or on set. I try not to let it get in the way, and I try to give an equal amount. So what I feel I get from life, I try to give back to life, and that's to those less fortunate. I'm also lucky that my wife is very involved in the charity aspect, and she's perhaps the most giving person I've ever met. And so she certainly helps me to make sure that our charitable causes don't go unnoticed.
In terms of in philanthropy, in charity, have you ever what's the largest mistake you ever made, and what did you learn from that experience?
I'd say the largest mistake I ever made, and it's not really, I don't know if it's the largest mistake within philanthropy, but it's a mistake of general philanthropy, which is there was a time that I did a contest, and the winner of the contest, it was a silly contest, but the winner of the contest, I would donate a large amount of money to there's two winners actually, each of their respective selected charities. And at the end of the night, rather than writing a check to the charities, I wrote a check to the two individuals who both are well-off people, maybe not super well-off, but have good jobs, and recognized maybe later I should go back and have the checks rewritten to the charities. And actually, I never got the checks back from them, and was never able to send the checks directly to the charities. So I don't know that they actually got there.
Wow. What was the contest?
It was a chili eating contest.
Chili eating contest. How many bowls did you eat? Or what was that?
They had to finish a very, very large bowl. It was probably enough to feed about 60 people.
But you didn't eat the chili yourself?
No, it was whoever...
They competed and you funded it?
Yeah, there was two groups, and the competition was whoever won, we'd give $100,000 to. The charity split, 50-50 each.
And is there anything else you want to add while we're chatting here? Any ideas or any advice you'd give to people?
Making money is very difficult, and everybody knows it's a lot of work, and you put in a lot of your time and life and emotion and of your person into it. But giving money and giving time, is so much more valuable and so much more rewarding than making money. And one of the things I thought about in coming to this conference is, some of the questions people were asking is it easier to give or get? And the funniest is it's much, much, much harder to make money than it is to give money, because giving is just such a rewarding thing. And I don't think there's anything in my life that I could possibly do, have, get, buy, or otherwise be involved in that makes me feel as a person as good, or gives me as much reward as either giving money or helping a charitable cause.